All right, it's Dave here, and welcome back to my channel. If you can subscribe to this channel, I'd really appreciate it. This note came through on my email from the Tulsi campaign, and it's talking about the Politico article that yours truly did a video about a couple days back. And they noticed that this was a smear campaign. And saying this is a quixotic run for the White House, isn't sticking to normal presidential travel schedule, does not seem to be following, because she isn't a follower, she's a leader, the lockstep early state cadence, because that's what you have to do. The schedule has baffled Democratic operatives. That's what we want. We need more operatives in our government. Just the word operative alone, it's kind of like when somebody in the warfare state says the word invasion and they're talking about the United States because we're going to invade some other country. Your rabbit ears, your antennas should go up. Again, establishment political consultants and media deride what they don't understand and hate it when they can't define a candidate with an easy label: socialist, conservative, progressive, capitalist. It's much easier to pit people against each other when the focus is on what makes us different instead of what unites us. This is why this paragraph, or this sentence here, is why I support Tulsi Gabbard for president. She is not your typical presidential candidate. And if you had told me I'd be supporting a Democrat, a guy who is typically center-right, politically speaking, I would have probably laughed at you a few months ago. I was on board with the Trump train, and I threw myself off the train. So Tulsi isn't running for media darling. She's running for president. She's running to serve you. She's running to end costly regime change wars and the new Cold War, which was brought to us in part by the mainstream media and the Russian collusion narrative. So obviously we can reinvest trillions of dollars back where we need them the most, at home and in our communities. And of course you can donate to the campaign and click on one of these buttons. If you didn't get this email, then obviously just go to her website, tulsi2020.com. The more I see Tulsi on the campaign trail, she was in New Hampshire today, every time I see her, she hits it out of the park. She does everything that a presidential candidate should do and more. Like I say, she's empathetic, she's sincere, she's firm and strong. She is a commander-in-chief that's ready for action on day one. And she talks about that a lot, about being commander-in-chief. She takes this responsibility seriously. Whereas Donald Trump has become kind of like the ringmaster of the media circus. Let's just be honest, because that's what this is. I mean, he loves it. He loves the attention. The media loves it back. And they trade barbs all day long. Meanwhile, we're sending soldiers to places that they don't belong. Okay? We're spending trillions of dollars on wars that we shouldn't be fighting. We've got a national debt which continues to skyrocket, and all of it can be traced back to the Pentagon. All of it. Like every dollar can be traced back. Even if we were really reckless with our spending, because people on the right, and it's kind of where I'm from, but people on the right like to lecture everybody else on where the money's going to come from in order to, say, do Medicare for all, or do a program that those on the progressive side of the Democratic Party want to do. And rather than ask that question, I'd be saying, well, nobody ever asks how much money we need to spend on the military and how much is too much. Nobody ever approves a regime change war through Congress before launching an unconstitutional and immoral war. Okay? So yes, I'm using the Constitution because it's relevant, and I think some of us have forgotten about it, and it does apply in the area of war. So Tulsi Gabbard, again, making headlines with this email blast because she really has put down the gauntlet and said, you know what, I'm not running to be the media's favorite candidate. That's going to endear her to a lot of Trump supporters and to progressives who were on the right side of the Russian collusion fake news narrative. She knew it was fake. I think the smart people on the left knew it was fake, and pretty much everybody on the right knew it was fake and just wanted it to be fake. But what's that going to do for Donald Trump? He's going to gain some sympathy from voters in the middle, and we have to bring everyone back to the main issue and just issues in general, okay? Regime change war is #1 on my list, and I want it done. I want it over with. Someone dropped a comment on my last video and said, I want my country back. I want my country back, and I want our soldiers back. I want our soldiers back home where they can train and be ready for something when it really happens. I'm tired of sending them out on quote-unquote humanitarian efforts when we're the ones causing all the humanitarian grief around the world, and then we're sending our soldiers out to supposedly fix it. And they're not fixing it because they have no intention of fixing this problem. And it doesn't matter who the president is. Right now, we need a president who can go in there and say, no more. Our foreign policy has nothing to do with running around the world and setting up shop in 70 different countries, from what I understand, with 100+ military bases. And, you know, it's time for a change, folks. It's time for Tulsi Gabbard. We have to put this to a stop. We have to end these useless wars. All right, so I'm done with this. I just wanted to make a point of how that Politico article I had referenced the other day, the campaign is all over it, and they're actually a little ticked off, and they should be. We all should be, because this is crappy news. This is lousy news reporting. This is fake news on steroids, and Politico is just an operative for the deep state and for the left-right, failing left-right paradigm, which is just about tribalism and which team can win, okay? I want this country to win, really, actually win again. I know Trump used that a lot, but I want our country to win and not lose in any more fake wars that we're fighting, because it's humiliating for our soldiers, and it's an embarrassing piece of history that just goes on day after day. All right, I'm done. Please donate. Take care.